Marta. Oh,
Hi.
hi. How are you
Hi.
doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So tell me your story, Marta.
Um, so I started seeking about 4 or 5 years ago,
Hmm.
spiritual seeking during the pandemic.
Okay.
That's when I first heard about non-duality and that stuff. I've been through a few teachers. I mostly started basically for a year following Fred Davis. Then
Okay.
I did an intensive with Salvador Poe. Um, I did a questioning with someone from Liberation Unleashed.
Okay.
Then I went back to had awakening session with Fred Davis. Then I went back to Salvador Poe, and I've been sort of watching your videos and Jim Newman, Tony Parsons, sort of all in the mix.
Okay.
And I feel like I've had like, I don't know if it's like experiences or, like I'll do a session, then I'll feel good and everything will be going well. And then next thing you know, I'm back to seeking and I don't really know what's going on again.
Yeah.
So it feels like, and just recently, like I've just been going back to all the old teachers and like watching a new video every day, and I can't even get through a video. I'll skip on to someone else. It's like I don't know, it feels like I'm losing patience or something.
Yeah.
And I don't even really know what exactly I'm supposed to be looking for anymore.
Okay. Yeah.
It's just feeling everything's getting really
Yeah.
weird.
Okay. So, what's your belief then?
I think it's I guess it's like some sort of there's supposed to be some sort of shift in identity or like the dropping away of self-awareness, contracted sense of self, separation, like drops away something.
Yeah.
Wonder,
What are you without those beliefs then?
just like just there's just empty mind, like no thoughts
Yeah.
when you ask that.
Yeah, exactly. Because what seems to be happening is like it's almost like you're buying into belief systems, and that belief system creates like a temporary happiness or peace or whatever. But
Mm-hmm.
what you're really looking for, correct me if I'm wrong, right, is you have no idea.
Right.
Yeah. And everybody just keeps on giving you ideas like contracted sense of energy, awareness, whatever, that kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
And you just keep on, it's almost like you're indoctrinating now to a teacher's or a speaker's belief system.
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, you just keep on going back over and over and over and over again
Yeah.
because a belief usually just is temporary, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what's between a belief and a non-belief?
I don't know.
Yeah. Again, like I'll just point it out, right? So, I guess not the fault of the teacher or speaker, right? But they're just basically sharing some knowing.
Right.
Yeah. And they're trying to express something that's unknowable based on their knowledge. So somebody will try to teach you a technique, and somebody will try to give you some sessions, I guess, or whatever, clarity or whatever. But what if what you're looking for um, is unknowable, and you're just going the opposite direction of knowing, knowing, knowing? That's why you're watching all of these videos, right? Because you want to get to the next. And then when you have clarity, for example, then there is a now you'll have a new narrative saying that, well, what happens after that? Can I keep this? So if there's no next, there's no past, there's no future. What do you have?
Just this
Yeah,
moment.
yeah. Isn't this enough?
Yes, but what is sort of the awakening that everyone's talking about or the shift in identity? Like they're
It's
talking about something. It's not like
I'm
are
I'm,
they
go- I'm
lying
gonna
to
I'm gonna
everybody?
reveal it to you, right? It's just a thought. It's just another idea. It's just another carrot. You can also say that the shift in whatever is seeing that there's no next. But again, that's just another idea again. Sorry, something stuck in my teeth just again.
Ugh.
Okay. But yeah, um, it becomes just an addiction, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because
That's
5 years
right.
ago, right? I'm just going to be upfront with you, right? Because you've been around the mill, so to speak, right? You know what I'm saying? It's just like an addiction. Someone tries to offer you liberation or whatever, but it's using your mind over and over again. What's in between mind and no mind?
Nothing.
Nothing. Yeah. Not even nothing, right? But there's just this almost like there's this peace here. There's this emptiness. I'm sure you've seen this before, but but not as an idea, not as a concept. There's this almost like a silence.
Right.
Yeah. And it's very ordinary. It's very subtle. It's very sobering. That's just almost like an intoxication, like an addiction, right? Kind of like, will I get, will I awaken? So you keep on booking and everything because you keep on going to retreats, thinking that there'll be just up like a fireworks or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also when people sort of talk about it, it seems like,
Because they're talking about an orgasm, like they're talking about like a, you know what I'm saying? Kind of like a clarity, right? But they're not talking about that in the moment. They're talking about thoughts, 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 thoughts. Sorry, go ahead. Keep on going, Marta.
yeah, so all those teachers, like they're not actually trying to point to something.
They're trying to point to something, but there's no something.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? They're trying to point to an idea. I've done actually, um, yeah, don't even to mention. um, I've been seeking for like I was a teacher too, and then it was like
Mm.
whatever, right? I'm not trying to, you know what? Everybody's talking about thoughts, but no one wants to admit it that it's just all thoughts. But what's really a thought? They're still in the thought level, you know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. It's just where everyone is, right? So
But so what would the not thought level be then?
what's between thought and no thought?
I'm not sure. I feel like I'm supposed to be coming up with an answer, but I don't have one.
Yeah, because there's no answer to it, because there's no
Mm.
thoughts, right? There's no thoughts that's coming up. And that's, people will call it the peace that passeth understanding, like the clarity without words, that kind of thing, directness.
Right.
So this is it basically,
So
without any
nothing,
thinking.
nothing
Yeah.
changes, basically.
What's that?
Nothing changes.
Nothing changes. Yeah. It's just the thoughts about it, I'm saying? There's no thoughts about it. It should be this or not this, right? So, and there's no next. It's like sobriety from an addiction of seeking.
Right.
Yeah. And there's this clarity here. There's this peace, like, um, yeah, because I've gone through that, all of that teaching and non-teaching and everything, right? So
Mhm.
everyone is just trying to, like from the awareness, like you're trying to be aware of awareness or settle in it. And then there's like the radical, which is basically there's no self or, no me or
Right.
contracted energy. Both are ideas. I admit that there's clarity here, but I don't know what that is. When I say it's unspeakable, I really mean it's unthinkable. But that unthinkable is almost like a sobriety where there's no difference between you and I. If there's no thoughts, what's the difference between here and here?
Well, I mean, like the image is different.
Yeah, what if all words are just made up? The moment that you think of something, the moment that you see the word, almost the thought kind of like hijacks it and say that that's Emerson. But what if words are just the delusion, the illusion, basically? You know what I'm saying? So what I do right away is like, there's no difference between us. There's no one, enlightened here or non-enlightened. There's no one awake or not awake. It's just, I can't speak about it, but it's here.
Okay.
And that's what we are, basically, without thinking about it. We're not separate. That's what everybody's trying to point out too, but they come into imaginations now. So someone will say that there's just awareness, right? That's just a thought, that's just a word. Or there's no me, that's just a thought, that's just a word, right? So when people have this clarity, they're like, oh my goodness. For example, right now, there's neither a me or a no me here. There's neither a thought or no thought here. It's just clarity. So someone will interpret that as, they will say, of course, it's a knowable and everything, but yet you think that they know it by saying that it's the awareness or it's the self or whatever, right? Or or someone from the opposite side will say that it's really nothing. It's nothing being everything.
Okay.
So I don't really belong in any groups anymore, if you noticed.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
I
I do my
mean,
one-on-ones, you know what I'm saying? And I'm transparent with my one-on-ones. I post them.
right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
there's transparency. Yeah.
A question sort of about the awareness thing. Like,
Yeah.
I know you said it's just a word, but like I could say like a bottle of Advil is a word, but like this is what I'm talking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
But when people say awareness, that's just a word, but what are they, what is that sort of,
They have no idea.
they have no idea?
They have no idea what it is. Yeah. They're just making it up.
Oh,
Yeah. Because I was there too, because aware basically paying attention to your attention. Right.
right.
But that's just another thought. Awareness is just another thought. Because I was trapped in that for maybe 10 years and I was suffering big time, right? Because I keep on, I thought I got it, but it lasted only for, I kept on getting it, losing it, getting it, losing it,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
cycle, right? And one point I was just really depressed and I had super anxiety because I'm always looking to be aware of the awareness and everything, right? So, and I would have panic attacks, right? So, um, I didn't even have any kind of, when this cleared up for me, like the delusion, um, I didn't even had any plans of talking or being a speaker or whatever. It just happened by accident. But I also saw that doing the one-on-ones, I'm like, oh, I don't want that person to suffer. So there's a lot of compassion here. I'm like, don't go there, Marta, right? Because you'll just keep on.
yeah,
I lost everything. Like I sold my house, my relationship got broken because I was addicted to seeking.
right.
Yeah. So this is an open invitation into clarity and directness. And and you know what? You didn't even have to attend a retreat or whatever, right? It's direct.
Yeah,
Yeah. You
that
didn't
was a
have to.
couple years ago, but
Yeah.
it's just another one of the things where it feels good. You feel like you've gotten something.
Of course, because you think you got it.
Yeah,
Yeah. Then you have a
and
belief again, right? If you got it. But belief becomes a doubt when the day is shitty. Then you think you lost it. And then the teacher will say, attend another intensive.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
what they say.
Yeah. But the teacher, as long as there are students that following a teacher, right? There's not going to be any clarity because someone will always, it's kind of like a codependency. Someone has the power and you don't. Even if you momentarily get it, you lose it, so you go back again.
Yeah. What about teachers that say that there's no teacher here?
That's still a teacher. They're
Okay.
still trying to impart some thoughts, basically, right? It becomes a new belief system. It becomes kind of like another thing. Then you'll
Yeah.
get caught up, thinking that you have found the right one now because you just made, basically thoughts are just making opposites, right? So the opposite of it is awareness. The opposite of it is nothing. The opposite of teacher is no teacher.
Right.
Yeah. Same thing. And then now you're waiting for the dropping away of the me.
Right.
Now you're waiting for the contracted energy to go away.
Yes.
Yeah. Where's the contracted energy right now?
In the body,
If you can go to the past or the future, if you can't use thoughts, where is it?
in the body.
How do you know? Yeah. It's just another BS. You just believe it and you think that it's in the body and everything, right? So um just basically waking up is waking up to the BS.
Right. That's what, yeah, I had that sort of feeling when I was talking with the person on Liberation Unleashed. It was kind of like, oh, that's all bullshit.
Yeah,
And like, I felt kind of like I was awake, but I don't know, it didn't last.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
Well, this one is the permanence, basically. It will try to come back, you know what I'm saying? But now that we're friends, you know what I'm saying? You can just call me up and everything. And you know what I'm saying? It will try to fight. You know, let's not bullshit it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, like in a couple of days, it will try to kind of like, oh, what was that? But at least now you know that in between. So what's in between belief and no belief?
nothing.
Yeah, there you go.
So is it just going to that space?
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's so simple. It's in between where the mind, the self, the me, then whatever can't go because there's no such thing. And I just talked to someone that I talked to 2 years ago, and he goes, "Oh my goodness, Emerson, I just saved a bunch of money because I was like looking at my finances. Normally, he would like allot like 10 grand every year for seeking, basically, right? Well, like imagine if you went to like India, you know,
Yeah,
every year, right? So, I'm like, and he basically said, I just went on my first real vacation where
yeah,
I didn't have to go seeking. I really enjoyed it, you know, and I'm like, how are your thoughts? He goes, it is there, it's not there. Who cares? Who
right.
cares? Yeah. It's just being sober again because someone is trying to say that there's something wrong with your thoughts, that there's a me there. So it's an indoctrination if you look at it.
Yeah,
But there's also peacefulness because the thoughts don't stick around anymore, really, right? Because if you go in between, if you go in the gap, then there are no thoughts.
right. So before sort of I heard of this non-duality thing, like when I was just living my normal life, like was there a separate self there and then the
No?
seeking was sort of created it or
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, if you look at it, that there's something wrong, right?
right.
Yeah. There's also always going to be something wrong, you know what I'm saying? But it's just a part of life.
Yeah,
Yeah. It cannot be solved by enlightenment or anything, right? Because it's just another thought. It's just everything is a thought if you look at it.
yeah,
Yeah. So they kind of got it a little bit, but it's not complete. You know what I'm saying? What they're talking about, because it just goes back into an opposite, right? And the opposite, when it has an opposite, it will just keep on going back and forth. Like when somebody suggests that there's no me, then there's a me, then, right? That you have to get rid of. If there's a contracted energy, then there has to be an energetic shift that needs to happen. It's always the next. It's almost like collecting followers, right? That's like the teacher and the students and everything.
right.
Yeah. This is a breakup. I like, when when I talk to one, this is like a breakup with non-duality, right? So um
Yeah.
yeah,
I feel like I've tried to break up with it before.
yeah. Well, let's get this to stay. You know what I'm saying? I'll be here. You know what? I'll you know what? I'll get off my high horse of enlightenment or know me and everything because that's just bullshit anyway, right? And just be friends.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love doing this because I love people setting free from the BS of it because there's clarity here, isn't it? There's nothing wrong right now. The thought will try to go to the past or the future.
Mhm.
Yeah. If there's no past and future because they're just thoughts, then yeah, simple.
Yeah, I guess if you don't think about it, there's nothing wrong.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Exactly.
And then I guess what about the teachers that sort of talk about like emotion work, feeling your emotions or stuff like
I
that?
res-
I
I
guess,
respect I respect that, but you know what? This is a more direct way.
okay,
Yeah, right? Because you can get stuck in that for a long time as well.
right.
Yeah, because you're just reinforcing that there's a you that has emotions. Even the whole process is self-centered, basically self-focused.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much respect, if it works for some people, cool. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you just get so much different things from different teachers. It's like,
Yeah, I know. And I was there too. And I was a teacher too at one point, right? So It's just and I've been in both camps. I've been in radical and also been in awareness.
Right.
But I'm transparent about what I do. I put it on the video, you know what I'm saying? And just pure, just sincerity, just directness. I'm just really direct. No BS. No, if you go to my retreat, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
if you do if you do 2 more intensives with me or that kind of thing, right? I do them, you know what I'm saying? But my goal is to do them is so that people don't come back.
Right.
Yeah. I don't have a good business system because, I keep on pushing out all the people. If you listen to my talks, I'm like, stop, basically.
Yeah, no, I do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard one, I can't remember who it was. It might have been Jim Newman or Tony Parsons or someone say if you come in person, it's like a stronger energy or something. And then you were saying, no, that's bullshit.
Yeah.
You can just do it over Zoom.
Yeah. I'm a threat to anyone now, you know what I'm saying, that has like followers and everything, right? Because
Yeah.
I just say it as it is. If I'm going to speak, if there's really liberation, why would you not want that for the person too, right? Why would you keep giving them carrots, right? And getting them to spend thousands of dollars, right? Because they're vulnerable. So they'll believe that bullshit.
Right.
Yeah.
And then what about like change, like people talk about perceptual changes, like in the visual field or whatever. Is that like, do you know?
Um, that's just another bullshit because it's a next, right? So what could appear it, then this is a story, you know what? But in the story, there's people that, that because they're so stuck in their mind, you know what I'm saying? So when I say that there is just emptiness or, there's no opposites, then it's kind of like right now, for example, if there are no bookends of the past and the future, if there's no me or a me in the between of that, what do you see? If you can't use words, what do you see? What's looking behind your eyes?
Well, I see shapes, but
Yeah,
that's a word.
that's the word. Yeah. Even, and then when that kind of like almost like when that, even when the shapes go, then there's just, I don't even know what this is.
Right.
Yeah. And then if you look at words, and they're all made up, all the alphabets are made up, right? So our language basically is the veil of the illusion.
Mm.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'll just say this, right? In the story of enlightenment, awakening, and everything, right? So there's almost like an evolution to it. Like back in the past, you would have to go to India, follow on, guru. You know, some people go on a monastery or, shave their head and everything. And then there satsangs now where there's someone that's dressed in a robe, you know what I'm saying? And then it became with the speaker now that they say there's no one here. You know what? They're great, saying it could snap the mind and everything. But when it becomes a belief system, that's the problem. They're not prepared for the belief system, and that what keeps them popular because there's gonna be some belief systems. My talks are not popular. My one-on-ones are people are subscribing to it
Yeah.
because people don't even book with me anymore. They just do the one-on-ones, right? It's like they just listen to it and they're like, holy shit, I like you'll see the comments sometimes. They're like,
Yeah, no, I swear I've watched like all of them.
yeah,
I'm like, I'm missing something because I'm not getting what they're getting.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. But it's not about getting now, right?
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. It's just clarity basically. For someone like you that has been back and forth, back and forth with teachers and everything, right? So um it's just um how do I say this kindly? It's a business.
Right.
Yeah. This is a business too, to be honest with you, right? But this business is to stop you from coming back, right? So and then most people, you know what I'm saying, that the only problem is when sometimes someone can have a clarity and then they go back to listening, right? Because they want to compare. Like in the beginning, I basically and I don't want to advise with anything because people don't have a choice anyway. But in the story, I'll say that people that have some clarity and they go back to teacher to kind of like, of course the teacher will always present a different idea again. This has no ideas. So they'll go back into seeking again, right? So let this be your end game. Live your life. You know what I'm saying? Travel.
But then what if if you forget about the seeking and you just live your life and travel, then what if, like, then you're just gonna go back to,
To what? To ordinariness?
right?
Yeah, what's wrong with that? Because we have this idea of an enlightened character, you know what I'm saying, of just being in bliss and everything. If all of these characters were really enlightened, they would not be working. They'll be just staring at a tree forever. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like I know that's not how it is. I just,
Yeah, but that's what the idea is, right?
yeah.
Life goes on, right? Life goes on.
But then
And
what
really,
about, okay, so what about suffering though? Because you don't suffer anymore.
how about you? Where's the suffering right now? It's
Well,
just in thoughts.
there isn't any right now.
Yeah, it's just in thoughts.
It's just in thoughts.
Yeah.
Mm,
Without thoughts, is there suffering?
no.
No, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah. There's gonna be some issues like for example, illness is still gonna happen, but at least the thought is not going to take over it now and say that how can I get rid of this and everything. If that comes to, that's just irrelevant, you know?
Right.
Yeah. It becomes peaceful basically. Would you rather be at peace, although there's no one choosing? Would you rather be at peace or not at peace?
No, at peace.
Yeah. So this is the peace that's being offered here, right? It's not a teaching. It's just what is the ordinariness.
Right. So it's
Yeah.
the suffering is the
Sobriety.
thoughts.
Yeah. The reason that you're indoctrinated with the suffering and thoughts now is because you think that there's an enlightenment after it. It's just another thought. Yeah.
So do you still have the suffering thoughts or do you just ignore
No,
them or do they not show up there?
not much really, right? So
And what's the
I don't even
reason?
think about it. Because I've just sobered up from thoughts,
Okay.
and that's what's happening with you right now. So this is sobriety basically, because I'm not going to give you a next
Right.
or a past, basically, right? I'm basically showing you that thoughts are all lies and irrelevant. And everybody's just selling you thoughts. It's also just selling lies and irrelevance. It's so quick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's this almost like this quietness. I don't know if you, it's almost like a low hum, like an infinite hum, like a ringing of the ear.
Oh, the ringing of the ear.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have that all the time.
yeah, yeah. But that's the peace.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah,
Weird, because I always
yeah,
heard that and I'm like,
yeah.
and like it gets louder if you
If you're quiet, yeah,
okay.
yeah. No thoughts, it gets louder. So that's what there is. Yeah. It's the peace that passeth all understanding. It's the eternal, it's the infinite. Some people, that's why people call it God or awareness or whatever or nothing. But I don't want to call it anything because it just becomes a belief.
Hmm.
The moment you believe, you don't believe. When there's no belief, it's just here all the time, right? Even when I get caught up with life, kind of like, for example, when there's like I I I'm here with my mom, so my mom has had 4 brain surgeries. So sometimes she falls and there's going to be panic, right? But there's this peace along with the panic.
Yeah.
Life still goes on, but it's ordinary. It's not something that is fantasy. I'm not selling you a fantasy. I'm basically expressing clarity. But you already have.
But how do you know that?
I have no idea. That's why. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's the thing, is there's just this quietness. And the words that even if you notice right now when we're talking, there's no thoughts coming out.
Yeah.
It's just direct. Yeah. Yeah. So in the directness, there's this appearance of you and I speaking and everything, but without thought, what's even happening here? There's an idea, the appearance of knowing, but without thoughts, what's even knowing? Because I just, you know what, it's just clicking into like, oh, thoughts are just illusions. Basically, words are made up, right?
Yeah.
So if you look at it in really, really directly, you're like, okay, it's complete here. There's nothing missing.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can call this peace, eternal liberation, even, right? The problem with people that is not really problem, it's just what happens, right? So is to keep on trying to come up with a new thought,
Mm.
you know, meaning meaning the apparent ego comes back and tries to describe that glimpse that you had into something that they think they own now. They have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you okay?
It feels like my tension's getting sucked out. Like
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. 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 It's just basically coming into clarity. That's what you are, is clarity, not your thoughts, basically. Because there's a you in the story and everything. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just a thought. But there's also clarity that you have no idea what it is, don't you? Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I could just stare at nothing forever.
Yeah. Yeah. It's because the thing with with some of the techniques is because now you believe that your awareness, basically, right?
Right.
And that awareness can feel blissful for a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Or you're, I don't know what other people talk, that you're the self and everything, right? And that's just another belief that you took on, right? So it can be nice to be brainwashed for a bit, but
Yeah.
that brainwashing usually undoes, or sometimes you think that you're no me, and then you start talking like you're no me and everything. This is just authenticity, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's direct, isn't it?
Hmm.
Yeah. Oh, we have a kitty cat.
Yeah.
Is it a gray cat?
Yeah.
I love gray cats. My first cat was a gray cat
Yeah. She's
named
pretty.
Jose.
What was her name?
Jose.
Oh, Jose. Yeah.
Which was my original first name, in my birth
Oh,
certificate is
oh,
Jose
really?
Emerson.
That's a Spanish name.
Yeah, I'm Filipino.
Right.
When I was baptized, the priest did not allow me to be baptized unless I had um um a Christian name, right? So
Oh,
Catholic. So my godfather's name was Joseph. They're like, how about Jose? So they just tacked it on, but no one
oh,
ever called me Jose, right? So I'm like, that's such a cool name. I'll use it for my cat,
yeah.
which is really my first son, because
Yeah.
that's what happens when you have a fur baby, right? So
I have a dog and cat.
I only have a dog now. Her name is Bella.
Yeah, I seen her.
Oh, you have
Yeah,
you've been
you've heard
watching a
it.
lot of my videos then. Holy crow.
I've been watching your channel since like it started.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I actually watched you on Nothing Media too
Oh,
before.
wow.
Yeah.
Then you can just come here, Yeah. It's okay. It's because you know what? A lot of those teachers and speakers, they have this it's like they're overrated. You know what I'm saying? They I guess that's cool too. They're awesome too and everything, but you know what? There's this belief now that there is an enlightened being there or something, and they play the part. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm just very ordinary.
Yeah.
Yeah. But somehow the talk, the walk is louder than the talk now of what I'm doing. Right.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a meeting with you a couple years ago too, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah. 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 We did a one-on-one a long time ago, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And then what happened? Did you have some clarity?
I think
Or
so. And then I
yeah.
don't know.
Yeah. And then you went back into another teaching, right? Kind of like
Yeah, so I
thinking,
was doing holidays,
oh,
and then
okay.
you're like, no, that's bullshit. So I
Yeah.
stopped doing holidays, and
Yeah.
it's hard to remember when stuff happened and not, but then I somehow got back into holidays.
Yeah. Yeah. And then you think you have to do more and more and more and more because you know what? Because there's a more enlightened person there now, like Salvador, right? So
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, yeah. And it doesn't help that he's in India. He's like, it's this story, which is great too, right? So,
yeah,
but I just do straight talk, It's just clarity without any concepts, without any. It's not secondhand knowledge. It's not passed on. Yeah, it doesn't have a because if you notice it, non-duality just becomes a new religion.
yeah,
Yeah, and they have belief systems and everything, and then you almost belong in a congregation now. They're like, oh, how was your holiday, or how was your glimpse, that kind of thing. I'm like the outlier. I'm like the rebel.
yeah,
Yeah, and no one can. And someone said that, oh, I could not respect you because you were just a host.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Tony
that's
or yeah.
yeah, yeah. For Salvador too, I
Oh, were
did all
you?
for all of them. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, I did a nothing conference. Remember?
yeah.
Yeah,
But then you used to help out Tony on his
I did. Yeah,
one-on-ones, like separate from that, right?
yeah, yeah, I did. His online events basically,
Yeah,
and that's when I started doing one-on-ones, right? So, you know, um, and I was just kind of like wondering, I'm like, why are there's like 100 people here and none of them are, you know, stopping the seeking? Why do they keep on coming back? I didn't understand it, right? Because for me it was really clear.
right.
Yeah, and because the moment that you say that there's no one here, that should end everything, right? So, but I didn't know that it became a belief system now, and I'm like, oh, okay, there's no me becomes the new. It's all awareness.
Yeah.
That
So,
what that what But when I started speaking about this, I started getting canceled again.
oh no.
Yeah. People that used to come to me, they're like, oh, I can't listen to him anymore because he's poking fun, poking holes. But that's what this is supposed to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
stopped listening to you for about a few months too. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And then I just came back.
Yeah.
But this sort
Usually,
of this thing, whatever is happening, is that like because I'm talking to you?
no, 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 no. Again, you don't need me, right? Basically. When you can't go to the past or the future, then what do you have?
Right.
Yeah. When you can't, when you have a belief, what's in between that belief and non-belief, basically. It's just really simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost like I think at that time it's because there was some clarity probably, but it's very vulnerable because there's this almost like you're like a child again, when you have this clarity basically, and then you're impressionable again. So do you start believing again in different ones? So I've refined the way that I do one-on-one. I basically tell people try to book in a couple of days if you are able to. You know what I'm saying? Like on like Wednesday, and we'll clear everything up again because we'll try to come back in, and that's it. That's it basically.
So what tries to come back in is thoughts or
Thoughts, yeah, yeah. You'll notice it, and we'll just clarify. You'll be like, and lately people have been coming back. They're like, oh my goodness, you know what? I caught it, and I'm still okay, right? It's good now. Basically, it's kind of like I had another person basically said earlier. It's like, oh my goodness, it's over, isn't it? I'm like, yeah, it is. It's because when you catch it that it's just thoughts, then any thoughts that would come will be irrelevant now.
right.
Yeah,
So even if they come, it doesn't matter
it
because
doesn't matter. Yeah, you might believe it, but that's why what. Try to book. You know what I'm saying? If you're not able to afford it, just let me know. We'll do it for free. Right. The goal here is to that you stop seeking basically, and that's it.
yeah.
Yeah. And then I have a WhatsApp. If you want to call me, if like maybe a couple of weeks, you'll be like, I'm having a lot of stress because something happened or whatever, right? I'll just clear it up with you again. It's just another appearance. Yeah. So it doesn't become a religion, or you don't become a follower. Basically, it's like, because with others, right, they keep on hooking you with more and more and more and more and more. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And again, it's just, I meet people where they're at. There are people that have been so brainwashed, that have done like 6, 7 sessions. To me, I would just be completely honest. But there are so people that it's just, most majority of the people that I talk to, one shot basically. Yeah. Like you.
Well, I probably will be more than one, but
Yeah. But let's not even give it any power right now, say. If it does, usually I ask though that try to book on Wednesday right away. Then after that, we'll see. You know what I'm saying?
and then who were you talking to when you had this? Like, who was your person?
Who was the one that did this to me?
Yeah.
No one. That's the thing. So what happened was, you know, I gone through, I got super, I'd had like panic attacks with, following my awareness and being aware of my awareness because I'm looking at the future. And then when I went to radical, I got really depressed and suicidal, that kind of thing, because it's hopeless. It becomes your belief system. So I was just tired. I just stopped seeking altogether. I just kind of like, I can't listen to it anymore. I just shut off everything. And then one day, um, I was just really DJing. This is a couple of weeks after. I was just so tired, but I felt like an anxiety coming up, right? So I usually just do the things that I love, because you know what? When you're doing something that you love, you notice that there's no mind, no me or whatever.
Mhm.
So I was just DJing, and all of a sudden, I was like, I can't find Emerson. And it clicked. I'm like, Emerson's a thought. And that's all my basis. It's a thought. And every single argument, you know what I'm saying? I'll just keep on saying. Somebody says it's all conscious, and I'm like, that's just a thought. And they're like, well, it's just not a thought. I'm like, that's even a thought. That's the framework where everybody works from. So simple. But no one wants to admit it's that simple, because
Mhm.
they get caught up in their thought again. It's awareness. There's something special again.
And then when you're like, Emerson's just a thought, like what said that? What knew that Emerson was just a thought?
And that's what freaked me out. That was just also a thought. So I went silent. Yeah, I went silent for a whole month, right? So I was supposed to do a retreat, and I just canceled my retreat. I have some good students that wanted to, I'm like, I have nothing to teach anymore. I'm like, shit, I'm fucked basically. So I was just walking around, I just couldn't find my thoughts. I was just smiling and crying, and, you know,
Right.
and then it took me 3 years to speak again, right? Because the clarity settled in more, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not just repeating what everybody's saying, because there was clarity here. I just didn't know how to express it. But the clarity, and I started catching the one-on-ones really, really helped, right? Because I was even some surprised. I'm like, oh my goodness, is that fast, right? Because I'm just being honest. I'm like, okay, it's just a thought, or I'm like, what's looking through those eyes if you cannot use words or thoughts, basically? Those little things, basically. I'm just tripping you up so that you see for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Not
Mhm.
a belief that I give you. I don't prep you up to awareness, or the self, or all of these ideas. I throw them down the garbage.
So
It's like,
is this the awareness?
that's just, that's a belief.
Yeah.
You can't call this anything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the unthinkable, which is always here, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. The the side effect of this one is that you start losing a little bit of your memory, because you're not caught up in thoughts as much anymore, because you see it's irrelevant. So in memories, when they come up, you're like, and that's why I can, like, sorry for not remembering you, but I don't really just have a memory.
Yeah, I didn't think you would. No.
No, yeah. Yeah, so you know what? And now you know what? I just, now I'm basically gloves off, so I'll call it out. You know what I'm saying? I'll just call out, because I don't really want people to suffer anymore, to be honest. people that have talked to me, right? So if I can save you another trip, going back and forth, I'll just say it. Everyone's just caught up in their thoughts still. They're talking about their glimpse. And that's okay. That's perfect. But you keep on looking for that idea now, right?
Yeah.
When this is really not an idea.
Yeah, I always wondered what people were talking about when they're talking about a glimpse. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. So in all that time, you never had anything with Fred Davis or Salvador? You
like
didn't
this?
have this? Yeah.
No.
Really? So what are they talking about then?
Yeah, there's Salvador just takes you through the whole thing. There's nobody seeing how there's no person, no doer.
That's just another belief.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then aware. Oh, his is aware.
Yeah.
Not awareness, but aware.
Yeah.
There's
That's another
aware here.
that's another belief. Yeah. Yeah. And then how about Fred?
He really brings you through like the seeing there's no character. Like,
That's just another belief. Yeah. What else does he do? Oh, he'll just keep on saying that there's no character, there's no,
yeah, he just takes you the whole thing. Like the body was born, but the body wasn't a Marta. The
yeah.
body was just a body, and then Marta came
So you
after.
just go into a different belief system, basically. That there's no Marta. And it feels freeing for a little bit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. That's
Yeah.
the what trips me up
Yeah.
because it
But it
does.
snaps back up, right? It's kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then it's like, well, what happened?
Yeah.
And then you get frustrated and
Mm-hmm. Then you attend the clarity sessions or something, right?
yeah,
So
yeah. I didn't do that though. That's the thing. I actually stuck with somebody.
I did it too, and it didn't happen to me. So and it was sad because I was so desperate, right? Because
Yeah.
I thought I lost. So I gave all my money. I didn't really have much money. And then when I couldn't get it, he just sent me a video and basically said that you're the only one that's not getting this. And I'm like,
No,
what?
I didn't get it either.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So does
So
anybody get it? And so
no, but
nobody gets,
they just have glimpses and they just believe that they got it now. But
yeah.
thinking that you got it is another position. When you get it, you lose it. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's just a thought,
Mhm.
right? So the moment that you think that you got it, what's between getting and not getting it? And then you're back again into clarity, directness.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. You see it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or you don't get it. What's between not getting it and getting it, basically? Then it doesn't matter again, right? Because the thought will just get you caught up. But the thought can only get you caught up for so long until you lose it again. Why do you think they get so mad easily if there's if they're enlightened? If you notice, they get irritated.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or they keep on putting down people. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, on both sides, right? So,
It's weird because you always think the teacher you're following is different. Like they're
yeah,
better than the other ones,
yeah,
kind of.
yeah. They're no different from you. That's what I'm trying. That's the veil that I'm trying to pull. Where it's like, stop this pedestaling, making someone the best, or or whatever, right? So
Yeah.
no more gate. It's just gatekeeping. It's just an obstacle, right? It's like I can get caught up in that fabulous lifestyle of a teacher that travels all over and has retreats for 14 days or something, right? But when I do a retreat now, like I don't do it that often. I'm like, okay, you mofos better not come back next time because I'm really an introvert. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so I
Yeah.
give it all. I give it all, right? So, and the same thing with one-on-ones. I give it all. I don't kind of like, well, in 4 more sessions, that kind of thing, right? So I show it right away. It's simple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's just a thought, the past and the future. It's just a thought.
exactly. Yeah.
So this is sort of just changing.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is.
Not
There's something
not
that's,
moving, it's just changing.
yeah, there's something here that's not moving, which is what people call whatever. I can't call it anything because I don't know it. No one knows it, basically. People just think that they know it. That's when it gets screwed up a little bit, right? It becomes very, very rare now to get there. It looks like you have to listen to the speaker more, to this teacher more, you know, but you just basically adapting to their belief system.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So what this is something that is unthinkable. And then there's the movements, which is the thought, which is marta, which is whatever, right? Doubts, feelings. Feelings get hijacked by thought and call it, this is not it. And that's a thought again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what about the changes um like the stuff is changing? Like
That's just a thought again. Without a thought, what's changing?
mm-hmm.
And it's so funny, right? People are like, I don't want to hear Emerson. You're just calling it a thought. But you know what? That's what snaps people out of it, right? Because they're just really caught up in their thinking, 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 thinking. And then people are so obsessed with enlightenment and all of this kind of stuff. But you know what? If you look at those teachers, how often do you see it? Or people, people are going to be always under a teacher. Like, even if you think that you have, then you become a facilitator under that teacher.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
know, so it's just maintaining that facade again, right?
Yeah, that's right. Because Fred Davis actually has, and now he has teachers underneath him that
Yeah,
are doing his thing.
yeah,
That's funny you mentioned that.
yeah. And then it's so focused on testimonials. I'm like, I want to show it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm going to come into the scene, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm going to show it in a live video. And none of them has this. Very rare, probably.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they'll be marketing it to death, basically.
Right.
Yeah. And this is not a fluke. You know what I'm saying? This is just really simple.
Yeah.
I'm surprised not a lot more people do this kind of thing. Just because it's not sustainable. Because you don't get to live the life of a teacher or a non-speaker, that travels all around the world and then being looked up to as like, oh, there's no me there, or there's an enlightened speaker there, teacher, that kind of thing, right? So yeah, it's okay. It's okay. You know what? And this is just a story, right? Awakeness or enlightenment is seeing that everything is the same. There's no one higher, there's no one lower. Everything is equal. Yeah. Because thoughts about higher or lower is just a thought.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And there's peace. How are you feeling?
Yeah,
Yeah,
good.
good. It's good. And yeah, you know what? I love having a lot of friends now. I have friends now that I was supposed to go to Vegas to DJ and meet this friend that I did one-on-one with for a long time. You know what I'm saying? And it's just so nice, you know what I'm saying? Just to be free from that speaker status or enlightened status and everything, and just have this freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not as prescribed by, but according to who knows, right? Because if you look at it, you're just taking another position. According to Fred Davis, it's this way. According to Salvador, it's this way. Tony, it's this way.
Yeah. That's
You know,
when you compare them all and yeah.
yeah. Of course, you'll go nuts.
Yeah.
Right. Rather than giving you sanity and clarity, then you just kind of like, which one is it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And everyone will tell you that they're it. It's just simple, yeah. And again, you know what? Just WhatsApp me. You know what? If I don't answer, it just means someone one-on-one.
Yeah.
But I usually respond, email me. You know what I'm saying? Just have a friend, not a teacher or not a speaker or whatever, right? So
Mhm.
yeah. And
Okay.
again, now you see it now too, that there's really no hierarchy here, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's probably why he didn't call me back, is because it was just too ordinary. You're like, oh, I want the fireworks that everybody's talking about. But you know what? It's funny, right? People usually come back here because they try everyone, you know, and
Yeah.
yeah. They're like, there was something that I could not explain, but I thought that that was too ordinary, is what someone told me. So I, it took me like a few months to come back again, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you'll just end up going to Europe, traveling, looking for all of those speakers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then there's new speakers coming up, and then you follow that new speaker
Yeah.
again.
There's always a new person on my feed. I'm like, oh God, like I don't want to
Yeah.
get to somebody else now.
But it's the same thing over and over again. It's
It
just
is.
all thoughts. Yeah. Right. It's like, and then it makes you feel horrible because they keep on saying for the person, when the me drops away, there's still a contracted energy there.
Yeah.
But but people don't see it. They're just being sold a carrot.
Mhm.
And then there's always, if there's really clarity there, why just not say, why do you always have to have for no one? Like, come on, you know what I'm saying? For no one. It's just another belief, the no one. And people are, it's kind of funny, right? Because it's like, I'm either going to get canceled over. I get canceled already, or people trying to. I'm a threat because I'm a I don't know, really radical. The radical has become so conservative now, right? Because everyone's repeating the same shit over and over
Right.
again. It's become like an Orthodox church, the church of no one, you know?
Yeah.
Then if you go to the Fred Davis, it's just church of awakeness.
Yeah.
Salvador will be the church of the holiday.
Yeah.
That's why I keep on changing my words, right? So,
Right.
because it's like being kind of like a ninja, you know? Yeah. But I'm glad that there is peace now. I see it. I see it. It's so clear, huh? There's a silence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's almost not nothing to talk about, really, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you Wednesday, or
Yeah.
message me. You know what I'm saying? Just message me. Um, and this is not a thought. What's between a thought and no thought is this directness, this clarity, right? That's it. It's in the between. Everybody's going from opposites. This doesn't have an opposite. You can also say that this is what non-duality is,
Mm.
without an opposite. Can you think of something that has an opposite?
That has an opposite?
Without an opposite, sorry.
No, I
No.
can't.
Yeah, it's back here, right? Can you think of something when you can't use words?
Nope.
Nope. Yeah. Because if you look at, and then it's just a belief, right? So one side is this belt of this belief of the self or awareness, and the opposite side is no belief. But no belief is also just a belief. It's just the same thing.
Yeah.